Hello and welcome out to the Dice Tower. I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
And if you notice, it's just the two of us.
What did you do to Roy?
Just the two of us. We can stream.
You're not answering my question. What'd you do to Roy?
I'm never telling.
Oh, okay. Hey, half the crew, I'll tell. Half the crew, in fact, most of everyone else, is over at the World Series of Board Gaming out in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yep. Home sweet home.
Yep. We're not there.
We're not.
One of the ironies of life. No, so we're holding down the fort, and we'll be holding down the fort actually all week. At some point, Joey Evans will show up.
He will?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to have our normal slew of live shows throughout this week. Sans What's Happening. I think that's pretty much the only live show not happening.
What's happening is not happening, y'all.
That is correct.
That's right.
But anyway, yeah. So
there we go.
We're here.
Now, you all want to know if there's a contest. And the answer is yes, there is still a contest, even though everyone is gone. Mm-hmm. And the contest is for Emerge. So go ahead and send your little emails to contest@dicetower.com. The subject line is Ecosystem. Now, Emerge is this cute Pandasaurus game where you are building up these little islands and then you're adding all these little critters and creatures to them to score the most points. It's very fun, and it's got this cool action selection where you've got these dice that you're rolling, and you can upgrade your actions, and you can make more actions the same or different. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do in this game. So go ahead and enter that contest. It is 1 copy worldwide.
No, USA only.
Ooh,
one copy USA only.
I got your hopes up. I'm
but
sorry.
You got to answer the question.
What's the question, Chris?
How many types of meeples are in Emerge?
Ooh, Anna meeples.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, so it's a fun game. Joey and I did a review on that one. Joey, who is in the chat, because apparently he has nothing better to do with his life.
Wait, you promised me Joey was later in the week. You can't tell me that he's here in the chat now.
It's later compared to what
Get
I
off
said
the chat,
that.
Joey. We don't want you. Actually, we do want you. Please stay.
All right.
Please stay.
We also have some shout-outs to Kickstarter backers. Mm-hmm. Here we go. You ready for this? Sebastian Ambros from Poland. Thank you so much. This one specifically reads, shout out to Adam No Good Scallywag Jones.
Arr.
You scallywag. Devin Stoddard, thank you very much. Lucas Vitroller. Daryl Shannon. Oh, Beverly and Steve Sanderson. And lastly, Paul Faraday. Thank you, everyone, who is a Kickstarter backer here for the channel, supports us. We really appreciate that.
Are Beverly and Steve Sanderson related to Brandon Sanderson? This I want to know.
If you mix their names together. Anyway, how about we keep this program a-rolling?
Let's get started.
There's plenty more that we'll be talking about relevant to this week and everything, but we'll do that later. First, it's time for some eye catchers.
All right, so let's go ahead and get with our eye catchers. Am I starting?
Yes.
Planta Nubo. This is one I'm excited about. So this is a kind of a collaboration piece between Rosenberg, Mika, and Oda. So I'm excited. Mika and Oda did La Granja, and then Rosenberg has done all the many Rosenberg games. So I'm excited about that. And this is a solar punk game. So thematically, I guess humans have destroyed Earth, and then at some point we realized our mistakes, and we decided... I know, right? We keep destroying Earth. It's like the theme of every board game, including this one right here, right? After us.
That's fair.
So humankind has destroyed the Earth, and we decided that we needed to, have oxygen. So I guess that's like the main victory point of the game is being able to breathe. So we have combined solar energy with kind of this old cyberpunky-like energy. And so it looks like it's going to have kind of a cool theme. It looks like it's economic. It looks like there's some farming going on, some different building. I see polyomino, so I'm happy. Overall, I just think I'm like super on board for this. I think pre-orders are releasing at Essen. That's the last that I saw about that. So if you're going to Essen,
if you pre-order, you can pick up. If you
pre-ordered, I think you can pick it up at Essen. So it's just about to come out, and then we'll see. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, this was on my Essen anticipated list when we did that one. Yeah, Mika and Oda, right? Designed La Granja and a few other games that are, I think, really solid.
Cooper Island. One of them worked on Cooper Island, which I love. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it's just going to be a dream team. I hope it's a super win for me.
There you go, Planta Nubo. I'm also excited about that one. My eye catcher this week, and I haven't even shared this with you. I just discovered this, I think yesterday, yesterday or so. Do you remember the game Kraftwagen?
I do remember Kraftwagen. Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah.
I was overhearing a different live show, and I was like, oh, Kraftwagen's getting a remake.
Yeah, look at this.
That's pretty.
That's a much
That is
nicer
really
cover.
pretty, yeah.
If you have never seen before the original Kraftwagen cover, it was in the Stronghold Games, like designers, like renowned designer series.
Yeah, it didn't look bad.
Oh, this is the V6 edition. This is actually the upgraded edition. Now imagine it
Ooh.
not saying V6 edition, and that's what it
Fancy.
looked like. This was probably one of the better looking of the Stronghold Games designer series.
That line, yeah.
Yeah. I've enjoyed Kraftwagen, and so while this is the new edition, there's like no pictures of anything about the new edition. I'm just excited that there is a new edition because I think that this is a nice rondel game. Matthias Kramer is a designer that I've come to like even more than when we originally played this. This had a big rondel that kind of drove
It was one of
the
those
action of the game.
catch-up rondels too, right? So like, you passed somebody, and then didn't they get to take all the spaces in between?
Potentially, yeah. So if whoever was furthest back got to take actions,
Yeah.
right? Oh, here you go. Here's a good picture of the rondel, and here's the different actions and stuff on there. So right now it would be red player's turn because they're furthest back. They would scooch forward, take an action, then the disc slides here to the end. So the order of the rondel actions would change up as well. We found that this one was better not as a two-player game, unfortunately.
That's true. That is true. I remember that. I remember playing this. This was so early on in our
brownie
gaming
bites.
in our gaming career. Mm-hmm. Are those your brownie bites? This is your picture?
This is not my picture.
Not your picture, okay. I just remember it was so early on in our gaming career that I was like, ooh, this is like meaty and heavy. I'm so curious to come back to it and just be like, ooh, this is light. Or I don't know, maybe it is meaty and heavy. I have no idea.
Very interactive of a game. Like this is, it's almost like Food Chain Magnate light-ish in the sense that if you underbid someone for selling these cars, you know, like there's demand for cars each round, and if you can underbid someone based on these different categories, people are looking for like best engine or best chassis or whatever. And if you can provide that cheaper than like by $1 than somebody else, they don't get a sale.
Ground Floor was kind of that way too, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, not to the same extent. And I remember the little racetrack thing.
Yeah. You can.
This is definitely lighter than Kanban though.
Oh,
right?
heavens, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It has some similar blood throughout it, but
Similar blood.
yeah, similar car oil. Should I say oil? Because that's the blood of the car.
That is the blood of the oil is the blood of the car, folks.
It is.
Welcome to Car Talk.
That's what you learned right here, because that's about all I know about cars.
Yeah.
That and the gas pedal makes it go.
Okay, someone was telling me about how he rented a car, and it was an electric car. It had the option for one pedal driving, right? And that's where as you ease up on the accelerator, the car just stops. It does that regenerative, recharges the battery.
Well, don't they all do that a little bit?
It's an optional thing, right? And he said he had to turn it off because
How do you slam on the brakes if there's no brake?
you just let go of the accelerator.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Do you let go extra fast? I mean, like, how does that work?
I don't know.
Oh, I would want a handbrake. I would need something.
Hand brakes like a bicycle. Squeeze the front one too hard, your car just flips over.
Oh, yes, you spin out.
Oh, so good.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
E-brake? I don't know. I feel like there'd have to be something. If you're like, what happens if you release your foot and you don't stop?
I mean, the brake pedal probably still works, but like, I don't know, one pedal driving sounds too like go-kart-ish for me to like actually drive a car.
I don't know. Roy drives a Tesla. He knows all this stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, that is,
That's why he's not here.
so that's my eye catcher, is one pedal driving electric cars.
Yeah.
No, Kraftwagen. Anyway,
Kraftwagen. No, that's a good one. I'm excited about that one.
all right, let's jump to some contributors and we'll be right back.
Exacto by NSV.
Let's play.
Let's do it.
Here we got a stack of cards. Here we've got one on the green side and one on the beige side. Without lining them up, which two circles are that far apart?
I think it's these two.
Let's have a look.
It's correct.
Correct.
Wow,
You are
all right.
exacto. So you win this one. I'll flip that over. We'll go to here. My go.
Yep.
I reckon it
Ooh,
is.
that's a bit There's a few that looks like it could
I reckon
be.
it's purple and yellow.
Which one?
Got it correct. Purple and yellow.
No, it's not.
No.
No, I got a chance
That
to.
is not exacto.
So that was actually too short. All right, so something closer than that. I'll probably choose this. Let's choose this too. Maybe
Yellow-
not.
Yellow and orange?
Oh, why did I do that? You know what? It's too late. Yeah, yellow and orange. No, it's not.
Too far. Alright, I'm gonna go pink and this mauvey colour.
I think
No,
that might
that's
be.
well off. Well off.
Okay, these two then. These two.
Orange and red.
This is basically the game. So every time you guess correctly and you take the card.
I think
no,
that's a no.
I think that's it. That is the game. So basically, it just continue from place to place, and whoever has got the most tiles has got the most points and wins the game. And that is Exacto. And I'm Stella, and this is Taryn from Maple University.
Purple and purple.
And hopefully Taryn can win this one for your sake. And thanks for watching.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about Hungry Monkey. This is a relatively new card game for 2 to 6 players. You're going to be playing these animals, which are numbered, basically the same number or higher. You're going to be triggering these effects to try and deduce in the first half of the game and try and influence what are these 4 face down cards in front of you, which each player has 4. So you're like, okay, I've played a 3, I can look at one of them. Ooh. Okay, so at the end of the game, when you're finally able to play those cards, because at the start you're drawing up, at the end you're no longer able to draw, so you have to choose from those, well, all of a sudden, knowing what these are or having influenced what some of these cards are really important, and then you can try and get all your cards out. It's super fast and fun. It's got that sort of prep phase and then the end game. Maybe not everyone will like that, but after a game or two you can really sort of see the importance of prepping and trying to work out what these are. You can get a huge wedge of cards and get out playing a lot of them quite quickly, because you can play like 3 3s at the same time or 2 4s or whatever, and still triggering abilities along the way. There's a good number of abilities, but not necessarily too hard to remember. They're nice and intuitive with little icons and stuff as well. We've played it at numerous player counts, and actually it's worked really well at the bigger sizes. It sort of keeps that speed up, and 15 minutes timer on the box, yeah, that's pretty much about right, and then you're pretty much ready to shuffle the cards and go again and try and be the hungry monkey, or at least the winner. Enjoy the rest of your breakfast, and let us know if you've enjoyed this in the comment section below.
All right, so we are starting now the top 10 list. This is where we pick a topic. We're going to be going through 10 items in that topic. But as there's only 2 of us this day, as we already mentioned, Roy is busy at the World Series of Board Gaming.
What is that even? Board gaming.
Unnecessary air quotes. So we're going to be going through, we're going to be having 4 picks each, and we need y'all to help us
With 2.
come up with the final 2, the number 2 and the number 1. The topic of today's top 10 list is the top 10 things to do while everyone else is away from the office.
All by ourselves.
I figured this would be quite appropriate. So I'm going to kick it off here. My number 10 is to go through and kindly and nicely reorganize Camilla's entire machete collection. I think that's something that she would appreciate.
Are you going to shine them for her too? Sharpen,
I'll dirty them.
break them?
I'm going to leave like crumbs of food on them, a little bit of like Kool-Aid juice so they get nice and sticky.
How about dried blood?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, well, my number next, whatever that is, I want to play hide and go seek. Have you ever, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel this way. Every time that I go into like some big complex by myself, or even like school back in the day, like high school and stuff, I always wanted to play hide and go seek in a place where I'm not allowed to. So I want to play hide and go seek here. Will you play with me?
That's called being a fugitive from the law.
I don't want that. No. I just
No.
want to, like, there's just so many little rooms and it's dark and it's like, I don't know, there's something about walking in and you're like, none of the lights are on, nobody's here, like I won't get caught if I go hide under a board game table somewhere.
What I do when I walk into a complex for the first time is I think, if a velociraptor broke in through that door, what's my escape route?
Ooh, where would you hide here for a raptor? What's your spot?
Run outside screaming. Number 8.
Fair.
We can finally play all of the ugly Euro games in peace.
Yes! All of the games. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to play Euro games.
Yeah, we never get to otherwise. All right, number 7.
All right, my number 7. I'm going to replace all of Tom's hats with one size too small. All of them. The entire wall.
Gosh, that'd be good.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be really good.
Can you imagine him just coming in and being like, it doesn't happen, like it doesn't fit. Also, I have a really small head, so that would not be hard to do. I just have to make sure it fits me.
It wouldn't be hard to do. Well, I mean, Tom has a large head, so it's not hard to find a hat that's too small.
That's true.
It is
That
hard
is
to
true.
buy 70 hats. All right.
Okay.
Number 6. Hide all the energy drinks and the G Fuel in the office.
That's fair. We're one of the least caffeinated people in this office.
Yeah, and it shows. We're so boring.
All right, number 5. Hey, Alexa, will you set a monthly alarm to take Joey out for a walk? Thanks.
You're mean. That is the rudest way to do that. All right, my final one here, number 4, is to downgrade all of the components in Last Light.
Oh, that's just sad. Are those supposed to be planets or are those supposed to be the spaceships?
Both.
Oh.
All right. So yeah, remember chat, we need your help. Wendy, you're
We
number
do.
3.
All right, my number 3 is to build a labyrinth out of the board game cards. They wheel around, and it'd be so fun to make a little corn maze style thing out of all those cards.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go
Where I
here.
play hide and go seek in them.
That's
Genius.
That's the
Okay,
way to
labyrinth, hide and go seek, and then we'll take Joey out for a walk.
do it. But when you get the Minotaur, I'm out.
Okay, but what about the raptor? Raptor's okay?
Raptor's fine. All right, so let's cut
Let's
through
see
the
what you all
chat here.
got.
Well, I like this one here, Joey said. That's it. Put my desk in the closet. We'll do that for you, my man. We'll do that for you.
Oh, we should play The Floor is Lava.
Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Take all of the stuff out of Z's desk, put it in Tom's desk.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
That would be terrible.
I'm absolutely here for that.
That would be terrible.
Uh,
I probably will jam music at some point. If I show up, if you're not here, there will be a day, sometime in the next 2 weeks, that I will be here completely by myself. There will be music playing for sure.
I mean, you can just play music
No.
anytime that you want.
No, I'm not allowed to play music while you're here. It's against the rules.
All right, let's see.
Skid wrap everything in and around Z's desk. Ooh, yes.
So one time, yeah, there you go. That'll be it. That's the number 1. So one time, while Z was, I think, recording or something, I don't remember exactly what happened, but we got a delivery of all the 5-gallon water jugs, like tons of them.
Yeah.
We got a bunch all at once. And so I built a fort of them. I built like a whole wall of them around Z's desk. And it
Did
was.
you notice?
Oh, he noticed. But it was funny because they were, 5-gallon jugs of water. So the question became, is that a wall or is that a moat?
Oh, that's true. It's a wall. It's vertical.
Yeah, but it's full of water.
But it's vertical.
All right,
It's
we're going to
vertical.
continue to argue this, and we're going to cut to some more contributors.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Tomb Raider Legends. On a turn, you're going to take your cards and think about what you want to do, and you're going to place 3 cards face down. Everybody in turn order, starting with the first player, will activate their first card, and you'll do what it says, and then everybody will go around in turn order second, and then your third. When everybody's done, you will take your 3 actions and put them here in the exhausted pile. The trick to it is that whatever's in your exhausted pile will come back in your hand with the 1 remaining card, and these cards will go in your exhausted pile. So whatever you play this round will not be available next round. That's a general overview of it. So when you flip one of these over, you're going to take a black cube and you're going to put over what's highlighted. Everybody does what's on this side when they move into it, but this side you only get if you're the one to take the threat token off. When you move into these locations, you'll be able to grab whatever card is on here. In this case, it's a fake 1. You're trying to get your guy all the way to the end, and you have to have the artifact, which is here. When you get there, if you're in possession of this, then you'll win the game. So Tomb Raider Legends does, in fact, take that Lara Croft tomb raiding aspect and bring it into a family weight board game. You're pre-programming your cards, which is almost like jumping up here and I'm going to dive over there. You play that game, you're like, you have to run and jump, and you have to time it just perfectly. I feel like that when I'm programming this out. There's one artifact, 2 fake ones, so you kind of got to get that, and you're jostling for that, almost Indiana Jones style, which I guess is Lara Croft style, right? Tomb Raider style. But you are playing as each of you are a different version of Lara Croft, which is a little weird. That does take you out a little bit, but it's the way to solve this. Nobody knows the secondary character, so all you want to be is Lara Croft, and this kind of solves it. Some people play different generations of Lara Croft, and I think that works. You're going through this tomb, things are happening, you're playing cards down to take that on other people, you're running around to help yourself out. I think it brings the world of Tomb Raider to life, the best of any Tomb Raider board game that I've played. In that regards, it's a winner. And yeah, it's a family weight game, but it does fit the IP in what you're doing. It never gets too far from the source material, and that's a win for us.
Assalamu alaikum. For Quacks of Quedlinburg, one of the BGG users has made a campaign which spans over 6 missions, which you can play as with a tiny bit of story where King Henry's famous alchemist has blown himself up and now he's looking for someone to replace. And that's going to be you guys. So each of these missions across this 6 campaign are going to present some kind of unique twist on it. There are going to be some tokens which are going to be placed differently and become enabled at different times. Accordingly, there can be some variants that are going to be added in each of these, which add a little bit of variety to the game as well. It does use only the components from the base box, so if you have any of the expansions, maybe you can mix and match by yourself, but the campaign is made only for the base box itself. So if you're looking for a very light-hearted kind of story for this campaign and want to just play this 6 more times, then get the Quacks of Quedlinburg campaign from the BGG file section. That's it for me. Happy gaming!
Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's talk about a great game to play on a weeknight. This is Trailblazers from Bitewing Games. This is a tile-laying game that's going to use cards. The cards are kind of domino-shaped, I suppose. They're kind of long cards that are split into 2 squares. And you are going to be creating a terrain, paths through the forest. And each of those paths is going to have a trailhead. It could be a hiking path, it could be a biking path, it could be a kayaking stream, I suppose, and you are creating loops back to the trailhead. So if you're going to go hiking from here, and you can come all the way back over to the trailhead, or if you're going to go biking, you go here, but you have to come back in order to score the points. And you score points based off of how long your trail is, and maybe if you're playing with some of the expansions, how many animals you see along the way as well. This one is. I love the puzzly nature of this one. It has some cool rules where you can, of course, stack the cards and kind of cover up things and open things up, and you're scoring different scoring objectives and things like that. But it also has a really engaging, you're drafting some cards, but it really is a solo style game, and it plays really well solo. So on a weeknight, if you just want to pull something out, if you're not wanting to pull some big, hefty, dudes, this giant, sprawling kind of game, this one works really well. You just pull a deck of cards out, pull an objective card or 2, and you just go for it. And I really do enjoy how streamlined the solo variant is of this one, and just how the game plays in general. Fantastic one of my favorites of this year, probably. Trailblazers. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
What we do here is go back.
All right, today's old school game is gonna be one that Wendy and we really champion. It's been on, and I think it continues to be on both of our top 100 lists.
Yeah, for sure.
This is St. Petersburg from 2004.
Is this the updated cover? This is
the original cover I'm showing
original.
here. Here's the updated cover. And by updated, I mean just equally frightening.
This is one of those games that I was like, they redid the art, and they think they made it worse.
I really do think they did. The building looks better.
Yes, the
the
building
people
looks fine.
are 100% worse.
They're weird. They're so weird.
This was the 10-year anniversary edition. We're coming up on 20 years next year. So maybe
Really, next year?
maybe they'll make an uglier one.
Maybe we'll be in luck.
Yeah. So St. Petersburg is very much purely an engine building game. It plays very well 2 players. I think it plays well at any of the player counts, honestly, because what happens is at the start of each round, there's 4 phases to the game, and I'll be first player for 2 of the phases. You'll be first player for 2 of the phases. If you're playing a 4-player game, every player gets to be first player for 1 of the phases. There are 4 phases to the game, basically, in which you're trying to buy cards that will fire off at the end of that phase. So there's the green phase, blue phase, and red phase. And then there's like an upgrade phase, so the cards all the way on the right in the 4th phase, those are upgraded versions of green, blue, or red. So everything fires off, the green cards fire off at the end of green. Blue cards fire off at the end of blue, red cards fire off at the end of red. Green cards are money, blue cards are points, red is kind of at the in-between.
A combination of the 2. That's what I really like about this was that you start off with that green face, you're getting income. You're like, cool, I'm going to buy a card to get more income. This is going to be awesome. And then by the time you get through the blue phase and then the orange phase, you're like, do I have money for these really awesome cards at the end? But also it's interactive because if nobody buys cards during that blue and orange phase, all the spaces are filled, so nothing good is going to come out at the end. And so there's just that interesting little bit of interaction that is not like intensive, it's not mean or anything, but people can buy the cards that you want, but also if they don't buy cards, you can't get other cards out. So I love that.
There's some very good mechanisms, like just little things going on where like cards that stick around at the end of the round slide to the bottom row and now they cost a discount, stuff like that. But you were just balancing so hard the idea of, okay, there's a lot of good blue buildings out, and I want to spend tons of money to buy all those buildings, but if I do, I'll have no money left, and that green income phase ain't for like 2 more phases.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And so that's agonizing. This is, I think, one of the purest engine building games out there that people should really try if they haven't. It's hard to find, of course, but there are...
It is in the Dice Tower Library, so come to one of our conventions, you can play it.
There are old copies and stuff out there. Either edition you find is good. I think Tom prefers the newer one with the what I consider uglier art because it has an expansion in there that kind of brings the game open a little bit more.
Okay.
And I haven't tried that one, but I've been so distracted because the new edition of the game has art that is like clearly people. You know what I mean? Like clearly, yo, look, this is
this is this person.
Yeah.
In this art form.
And so it's, I don't know, it reaches that uncanny valley. I think Tom Vassell, like there's a Tom Vassell promo card.
Really?
Yeah, own it. It really bugs me.
Uncomfortable.
It absolutely does.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, there's nothing wrong with either edition except for the fact that both are ugly. But I mean, you want to talk about a great game.
But I
this
mean,
is
yeah,
great.
that's the thing is like, for me, I will take an ugly game any day if the mechanisms are great. And this is so much fun. Like the engine building in this just feels really good. You get to specialize in the types of buildings and the type of people that you want. But you're also, I mean, everything works for you too. So it's not like, oh, the lineup was terrible. I didn't get anything I wanted. So I just really like that.
Alrighty. Well, that is our old school game, St. Petersburg. What would you rate this one?
This would still be an 8.5 easily for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those I need to update my score. I have it as an 8 here on Board Game Geek, and I haven't...
I don't know what it is on Board Game Geek, now that I think about it. But my initial thought is 8.5.
Yeah, this was... I rated this a while ago, and I think it's only gone up. It's one of those that has just lasted and keeps becoming more interesting.
Yeah,
so.
really has.
Yeah, so at least an 8.5 from me as well.
Sweet. Well, let's go ahead and move on to some more contributors.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Today we are looking at, we're going to try and pronounce it.
Die Wandelenden Turm, The Wandering Towers.
What he said. 2 6-player game, Abacus Spiel. This is a great little memory game and a race game.
Yeah, so this is a fab little, it's a 30-minute game, even if you're playing it with 6 players, and it really kind of is. Very exciting. You've basically got a circular track which you move around clockwise. You've got a certain number of wizards depending on the player count, and you basically want to get your wizards into the Dark Raven Tower.
Obviously.
Very simple. Along the way, you need to fill your potion bottles, and you do that by covering other wizards with parts of the towers that you
towers
can
move.
move. Yeah. So you move towers
Magically.
and cover wizards, and then you get a potion. You have to fill all your potion bottles before you get your wizards into the tower. That's it.
Great game.
Take it in turns, and you basically move your wizards by playing movement cards. You've got 3 cards, and you move 2 each time.
Yep.
You're going to move the towers or the wizards. You can move towers with wizards on. You can move wizards on their own. You can cover.
Lots of tactics involved, tapping other people, trying to remember where you've put yours.
That's the trick of it. I mean, Kramer and Kiesling, great designers, and we love this design. Such a simple premise, but basically,
You can't keep track of your 5 5 wizards. You can't
where
keep
did your
track of them.
wizards get hidden by towers by the
quite
other
fun.
players?
I got
Hilarious.
12 too.
Yeah.
And as well as up to 6.
Really great game. So thoroughly recommend this one. The best bit is when you fill, when you put a wizard into the Dark Tower, it moves around the racetrack as well. So you're constantly chasing this tower. It's hilarious. Really good fun. Lots of take that in there.
Yes.
Thoroughly recommend this one. Check out the full review on our channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Hey everyone, today on the Plastic Canvas we're turning Gildry from Gatefall from this into this in just 2 minutes. Hey everyone, Matty from the Plastic Canvas and welcome to today's episode of 2 Minute Mini, and today we're painting Gildry from Gatefall. So in the last few 2 Minute Mini videos I've been talking about how much I enjoyed painting minis at this scale and how it's different to normal size minis because the minis in Gatefall tower over minis from other games. So I thought I'd flip it for this one and talk about one aspect of it that I liked less, and that's basically the need to try and make things perfect. So when you're painting a normal size mini, so 28 or 32mm scale, little imperfections are hard to see. Let's say you're painting a character's cloak and you're blending colours from the shadows to the highlights. If a blend in there somewhere isn't perfect, that's just not going to be seen once the mini is out in the middle of the table. Everyone playing the game will just be too far from the minis to be able to see little mistakes, and so you don't need to worry about it as much. At this scale though, being so freaking huge, imperfections are a lot easier to see, and so you do need to focus more on getting rid of mistakes. And I found for me that being conscious of this made me a little less free, I guess, with my painting, because I knew that everything was going to be easily seen. Now, this doesn't mean that when I paint smaller minis that I just tip paint on them straight from the bottle and call it a day. I still paint them as well as I can. I think I'm just less conscious of making a mistake, and so to some degree, more focus can go on using cool colours or just trying something new and seeing how it goes. If you've painted minis at both large and small scales before, I'd love to hear in the comments whether you're more conscious about fixing mistakes with larger minis, or if the scale doesn't really change anything about how you paint. And if you'd like to see the full version of this video, where I go into all of this in more detail, then just head over to my channel, The Plastic Canvas, and I hope you enjoy your breakfast.
I'm in jail! I'm so scared! All these monsters! I hear noises. I know what to do. I know what to do. All I need to do is make friends. Anybody mind if Goblin, do you mind if I... Alright, I'll go to the training room. Maybe it's less confrontational. Anybody mind if I... Why is everybody so mean? I'm so scared. Wait, they told me the scrapyard is the safest place. There is no confrontation there. Everybody's nice. Yes. Welcome to the scrapyard. No confrontation is allowed here. Get yours. You deserve it. And enjoy. Eat up. Wait. What? Eat up. What? Lock Up. It's an amazing worker placement that we highly recommend for 2 players. He has 2 unique twists. The first one, when you place your workers on the board, some of which have unique abilities, they all have different strength values, but when you place them on the board to gather resources, collect cards, you can place some of them face down. At the beginning of each round, suspicious cubes are spread out across the different locations, and when a player wins a location because he has the most strength there, he gets also the suspicious cubes, unless he's using a unique worker called the Lookout. At the end of the game, or earlier if the supply of the suspicion cubes runs out, the player with the most suspicious cubes loses victory points. Molly, how do you win? Lock Up.
focus on the goal cards because those are the cards that will give you the most points in the end. Second, focus on the exercise yard location. It gives you the red cubes that strengthen your enforcement. Lastly, don't get any more suspicion cubes than your opponent because if you do, when there's a raid, you lose a lot of points.
Yeah, check it out. Look out!
All right, Wendy, this archive video, this one's for you.
This is all for me, yeah, because this is about upgrading pieces in the library.
So Tom's been clearly doing this. Well, this was 14 years ago.
That's true. He didn't have a library at this point. It was his personal library.
It was his personal copy, yes. So we stumbled across this video here, upgrading the components in Agricola. So first off, opening up with this beautiful shot
Oh, yeah, baby.
of a dice tower.
Why don't we have graphics like that these days?
I don't know.
Really wonder.
We can't afford the budget, probably.
That's true. I just miss that, you know?
That clearly was from 500er. You know, it's like the upgraded version of Fiverr.
Oh, for sure.
So Tom talks at length in this video about just the extra components that he has lying around in a drawer.
He did. So this video is about upgrading Agricola, but then yes, he just basically pulled out his drawer, was like dumping bags out. And these are my bag of cubes, and this is my bag of flies for no reason, and this is my bag of meeples, and this is my bag of army men, and this is my bag. I felt so bad. I was like, I wonder if he had to organize all the stuff that he dumped out because he just dumped it and like threw it to the side. Did he organize it afterwards, or did his kids organize it afterwards? That's what I want to know.
I would put money on his kids.
His kids were little. They probably liked it back then.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was his fake ice right there. We saw swoop by. He's like, this is my fake ice.
Yeah.
He needs fake ice. It is funny though because Tom still...
There's the flies!
There's the
flies!
Why? Nasty. So Tom still has buckets and drawers and drawers of game pieces that he just holds on to. And he does use them to upgrade occasionally. But we have so many random things. Like, what am I going to use rainbow poop for?
What are you going to use ice cream cones, like little miniature ice cream cones for? I don't know, right?
We do have various and sundry forms of meat as well, like little tiny pieces of meat. And there's very few games that actually use meat. You think of Kalis, and what else?
Champions of Midgard.
Champions of Midgard, there you go.
Yeah.
And those already have meat in them, but we have tons of other types of meat.
Man, at one point, Tom's dumping out these bags, and he dumps out, like, stones. He's like, yeah, I have different kinds of stones, like these ones that look like gems, which look nice. And then he dumps out this bag that has, like, huge rocks in it. Yes. He's like, I could probably use this to replace the stones in Agricola. It's like, no, you can't.
Those are, like, egg-sized. No. Later on, he was pointing out the actual upgrades for Agricola, which is funny because I think those come standard now in most Uwe games, or even just most Euro games, where your sheep meeple looks like a sheep instead of a cube. You know.
We've come a long way in 14 years, right?
We have.
Those are the upgraded workers, because they were originally just discs.
Okay.
These are the upgraded components, right? And as much as we make fun of wooden cubes and such, we talk about that, I feel like not very many games come out with just like a pile of wooden cubes anymore.
Yeah.
Partially having, you know, the nice shaped meeples and stuff. Like, I'm guessing it must just be more financially viable now because more companies are doing it. But also, colorblind friendliness issues, right?
Yes.
Instead of having 8 colors of cubes representing the 8 different resources, if you have a thing that looks like a sheep, that's easier to manage.
It is, for sure. What's interesting too is that these meeples over here, like all these different little things, they weren't all for Agricola, or they were all for Agricola. Like, I couldn't fully tell because at some point he said that you could use the wheat and Catan. And I was like, aren't those cards? Like, you can't just...
They're very much cards, yes.
So anyways.
Anyway.
But yeah, our upgrades, like, we still upgrade the library, but it is funny, now Tom is replacing these pieces with better upgrades, whereas in the past, these are his upgrades.
We've come a long way in the hobby. I mean, I do think about that, right? We looked at Kraftwagen earlier, and looking at that stark blue board, I was like, man, I remember when I used to think that
looked classy.
Yeah. I liked it, and it's not that it doesn't, but it definitely shows its age. It definitely shows, you know, that like, hey, the games don't come out looking like this anymore, unless they're from Splotter, basically, right?
Or they're St. Petersburg.
Games that look like that don't come out anymore. St. Petersburg has been out of print for like 7 years, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, anyway, funny that Tom's been doing this for so long.
He has been, and yeah, we just, the drawers and the buying random stuff like rainbow poop has not stopped.
But now Etsy exists.
Etsy is dangerous.
It
We don't
really
let
is.
Tom on Etsy very often.
No. In fact, that's the number one thing I'm going to do while he's out of the office, is change his Etsy login password.
Oh, yes, do it. I'm excited.
All right, everyone. Well, that is that. We're going to cut to our last contributor block now before we wrap up.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're going to be talking about A Race to the Raft. This is from City of Games, and this is a kind of a sequel to Isle of Cats. But in this game, this is a full cooperative game where you are trying to get your cats from the kind of the perimeter of the board all the way across the board to this raft. But in their way is all this forest fire. This fire is kind of spreading and messing with their path and everything. So you have to kind of work around that, building a path for them, making it easy for them to get out, get to the raft they need to get to. This is also kind of a campaign-style game or a scenario-style game where as you play, there's more and more scenarios that are going to be challenging and give you more and more things to be thinking about, more and more tokens that you can use to help out or to hurt you. So there's all these different things, it gets harder and harder. Eventually there's an advanced mode. So there's lots and lots of customizability as far as the challenge of this game.
Yeah, and so you know how Ryan and I like to talk about things that we're doing to try to achieve better health in our life? Well, this is Race to the Raft. One of the things that works for me that I'm doing again when I'm trying to build up my running is I sign up for a race like 3-4 months in the future, because then I have to do it or else I wasted my money. So that always works for me for some reason. So I signed up for a turkey trot, so I will finally start getting back out there and building up my running again, or my race, that is. Get it?
Oh, yeah. I'd be better off in a raft.
But this was really fun. I liked how as the game got more complex, the cats had to go in a certain order and a certain way. You couldn't just bring them to the raft. They had to go a certain way, even though it would really mess up with what was happening. So I thought that was pretty cool.
There's this decision point where you can either kind of keep on building the paths out, getting them to where they need to go, or you can move the cats. And you really want to get, from an efficiency of turn standpoint, you want to get as many paths laid out as possible before you move them, so that way we're not wasting turns. Yeah. However, every time you lay a tile or lay one of the paths out there, you also have to spread the fire a little bit. So eventually you're going to have to move out the cats just so you can put the fire kind of behind them. Instead of
move cats, get out the way, get out.
Edit. And so yeah, you put the fire behind them so that way that that wasn't obstructing their path. So I love that decision point of, do I make the path or do I move them along a partially finished path?
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Everybody, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Guys.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I'm going to be talking about a game that me and my dad bought at Gen Con and was the best Disney game released at Gen Con this year. Disney Dixit. I know some of you may be surprised. So what I like about Disney Dixit is, number one, the theme is really awesome. I just really love the Disney theme, and it hits home for me, and it's just great. Another thing I like is the art in this game is amazing. The scoreboard, when it's out on the table, it just looks great, and it's very pleasing. More pleasing than Dixit in general. Like the board is a lot better in this version. Another thing I like is the cards. The art is amazing on all the cards. I can just be looking through the cards and being like, how did they do this? This is amazing. But speaking of the cards, there's only 84 of them. I can't go that far without, finding a stop to it. At least for Dixit, there's 1 billion expansions. For this one, there's not. But how about we make a deal? We make a Disney Dixit expansion with more cards, which I think would be awesome. Another thing I like is that the characters in this game are Disney characters opposed to the regular Dixit, which it's really just bunny rabbits. For this one, it's Disney characters, and definitely my favorite character is the genie from Aladdin, because, why not? And there is a review of this game on my channel, so please go check it out. It would really help that. And have a great breakfast. Bye.
Well, our mailbag segment today is going to be a little different.
The mailman went missing.
The mailman went missing. Not only that, the mailman promised me a letter. The mailman this week was going to be Tom. And he said, oh yeah, I'll send you a little video from the World Series of Board Gaming, which he did not. But if you've noticed, what he's done instead of keeping his promises made to us is...
He's kept his promises to you all, and that's what really matters.
Yeah, so Tom's been doing a couple of basically like little live streams, kind of impromptu live streams from the World Series of Board Gaming, where they're all at. And so you will just see them pop up on the channel. They're not really scheduled, they're not planned. He was going to be sending a little video explaining what's kind of going on there.
You could also watch the games live. So we're live streaming a lot of the competitions. There's some really cool stuff going on.
Yesterday, last night at 9 p.m., for example, was the Azul ring match.
Okay, what is a ring match?
So the ring match literally is...
Is there a cage? People have chairs?
See, I was hoping for that. No, but it's actually to win a ring that's worth like $5,000.
Oh, dang.
So I'm pretty sure that the people like that more than being stuck in a cage.
That's fair, that's fair.
Right. So the World Series of Board Gaming is going on this whole week, and that's where basically the rest of the crew is at. And so this is an interesting thing because this is tournament play, right? They're going to go through each of these different games. So Azul ring match was yesterday. Today there's going to be 2 more. There's basically, I think, 1 or 2 every day coming out until Thursday or so at the end of this week. Mike, I did actually call Tom this morning because he said he was going to send it this morning. He didn't answer the phone. So we watched a little bit of the Azul one last night. And so, different people, the crew here and then other people who are brought in as guests are kind of commentating on these matches.
Yeah.
Like the World Series of Poker or like a sporting tournament, you know?
It was funny watching the Azul one because, it felt very serious. It felt like watching golf where they're like talking about each movement and each placement and each collecting of, who's going to take the big pile of blues.
Right.
It was epic.
There was a point where there was a huge pile of blues.
It was, and the girl took it.
Yeah. Well, she took it prematurely before, and there was like 3 more blue tiles that could have gotten, in Azul, right? The ones you don't take from the outside areas, they go into the middle. And so at some point, you could accidentally be the person who has to draft like 12 blue tiles. And
if you're like, I'm doing the math, I might as well take it now.
Right.
Make it not so bad.
Yeah, so it was interesting to watch that a little bit. And so that's going to be going up. There's going to be streams of that in the evenings, basically, every day this week up until Thursday.
Yes. So there'll be lots of that content. Like we said, we have our live stuff too, but then we also have a couple reviews. I know you've got Ticket to Ride Legends of the West over here. That's going to come out tomorrow.
Joey, Z, Tom, and myself are doing this review. We have a few other reviews coming up. Not as many this week because of all the World Series stuff, but we have the live shows and everything.
We have Phil Walker Harding Part 2. So this is the last few years of Phil Walker Harding games. Chris and I are doing a pile of games review of that.
Yep. Yeah, so there's going to be a few other little things here and there. But I wanted to kind of focus and talk a little bit more about this World Series of Board Gaming thing.
Let's do it.
Right? So what do you think about tournament play? Like trying to play games, like basically for seriously?
That's just too stressful for me. Like that's so stressful. Like so us being from Vegas, like we don't gamble, we don't whatever, because I can't handle the stress of like, what if I lose my money? So like putting my money in for a tournament and being like, I'm gonna try to win this back, that stresses me. But I think it would be fun too.
Yeah, so we've played in some tournaments that were not like they didn't have like a big entry fee. Like,
a convention tournament that you're like, hey, just sign up,
We played together in a Seven Wonders tournament one time. I remember that.
I liked that.
And I think part of what was fun about that was everybody, like there were people there at that tournament who were like learning Seven Wonders. And so we were kind of the like, yeah, we know this game.
I know what's going on.
We still didn't win, neither of us.
But it was fun. So I think that's the thing, is there's something fun about sitting down and having like, an official competition with people that know how to, hopefully know how to play. And it's serious. But I don't want my games to be too serious. I don't want personally money on the line, because then I feel like any bad draw, any bad die roll, any bad, anything like that I'd be like, that's what did it. Like that's what ruined it, is I was playing Catan and the 8 never got rolled the entire game.
So I played one time in a what was it, Splendor tournament. And it was just at our local board game cafe back in Vegas. They ran a little Splendor tournament, and I think it just was included with like your typical admission into the cafe, pay $5, $7, and you could game there all night. And so it was funny because I was playing Splendor. I was like, this is such an easygoing game, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen such strategic moves in Splendor. Like people who would, as they would grab their chips, instead of laying them out in front of themselves, in front of their cards with the matching color, they were like holding them in hand and like rustling them and stuff, like doing all these little like mind tricks and stuff. And you're just sitting there like, John, can I see, how many black chips do you have now? And you'd like count them out and stuff. Like it was, everything was technically legal. Yeah, right? But it was like every little move was made to be as obfuscated as possible. To, like, oh, you're still hoarding 5 of the black chips, huh? Yep. Definitely not going to let anybody have any of those.
Oh, yeah.
So, it brings out a different style of play, which I'm fine with, right? It's not my preferred.
I think some people are extremely well suited to these kind of tournaments. It's not for me, but I think some people are amazing at it.
Right.
Like they have that ability to just like fully learn a game, focus on that game, crunch into it, and just get to know it so well that they're highly competitive. And I think that is an amazing skill that I wish I had.
But all that being said, even though tournament play is not like my jam, I really do like the idea of the World Series of board gaming, because I'm seeing people talk about I played in a Splendor tournament, and Chrissy mentioned that she took second in a Lorcana tournament, and there's like a lot of tournaments based on a game, kind of what you're talking about. Like, I'm a Terra Mystica player. I'm going to go to the Terra Mystica contest.
That's true, because you're playing a variety of games. Like, you know what the games are, but you've got Gaia Project, you've got Catan. Like, those are very different.
You have Brass Birmingham.
Yeah.
You've got Azul. So it feels a little bit more like you need to be kind of well versed.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I like that idea, yeah.
I think that it's very good for the hobby, especially really highlighting these games that everybody knows, like the very popular games, but making them into a tournament, I feel like that really just sets them up at another level. Like, yes, you should know these. You should know Azul. You should know these awesome ones. You should play Brass. Play Brass.
That's a good point, right? Like, each of those games obviously carries some legitimacy to them.
Yeah.
And so even Azul, as welcoming and like lightweight as a game as that can be, it really is such a solid game that it's up there with these other games that have.
It is an evergreen. Like, these are the evergreen games that are getting played here.
Yeah. Last Burning in the chat makes a good point, right? That tournaments bring out a lot of adrenaline. And that is a cool feeling. That is something that I'm not going to necessarily get from just, when you and I casually play a game. Last night we played a fun little dice chucking game, right? That was kind of, oh, cool, yay. But you know what I mean? If that was like for money, or that was for even just like laud for like a claim.
Yeah.
It does bring out a little bit more excitement to say, okay, I did everything to mitigate. What's going to happen now? Let's drop it and see how many wise choices did I make, or if it's like a more pure strategic game. Well, how well am I doing?
And it makes it more interesting to watch, too, because you know that these people have stuff on the line. I mean, we do live plays all the time here, right? And they're fun to watch because you want to learn about the game, you want to see how it plays, and, the interaction is fun. But it's a different kind of thing watching an intense competition. It's more like a sport. It's more like, something that people have invested in, they've worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, It reminds me of the Reiner Knizia quote that I'm going to try to say and not butcher, right? And it's one of those, like, it sounds very like Zen, like, look at me, I'm so smart, I'm going to say this, this quote that I came up with, right? But I do really like it. Reiner Knizia's quote is, the goal of the game is to win, but it's the goal which is important, not the winning, right? It's something along those lines. Basically saying, sorry?
I was like the working towards it and the getting better at it that's important.
Right, having good play.
Yeah.
Trying to win, trying to play well. That's what is important, and I do like that because it brings out good in games. If you watch these games that the people are going to be playing over the next few days, when we do those live streams, it is just kind of fun to see people really putting their all into these games. And even though it's not the way that I want to play everything, I want to play plenty of games frivolously and whatnot, right? it is fun to see people who really are going for that win.
It is, and it's fun to see people that are good at their craft, and so to see people that are good at playing these games is really, really special.
All right, thank you, Mike. I'm going to read it verbatim here. When playing a game, the goal is to win, but it's the goal that is important, not the winning.
There you go.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think that is an overall good quote here. So, make sure to check out the streams here coming from the World Series of Board Gaming. No live, so nothing else live here from the studio today.
Today, nothing live tomorrow.
Nothing live from the studio tomorrow, no.
But starting Wednesday,
But starting Wednesday, crowd surfing.
Crowd surfing. We've got smorgasbord on Thursday.
And then a top 10 list. Was it you that picked the topic for the top 10?
I didn't pick the topic. Alex and Joey picked the topic. It's top 10 Halloween games.
So that's going to be with Wendy, Joey, and Alex. So make sure to check that out. And then, as I mentioned, of course, few reviews, not too many, but I think a pretty big one coming out tomorrow. Thinking about like our tournament conversation, I think that's what I enjoy about legacy games is that, like a tournament, there's a little more adrenaline on the line because it's not just like each game is a discrete thing, but like it all kind of ties into
Stuff
something
carries
bigger.
over. There's more weight behind it. Yeah, that's one thing that I remember about the first time playing that Pandemic Legacy, which I think was our first Legacy game.
Yep.
Was just that you can't let the whole world go to pot at the end because there's permanent consequences. So that's true. With a tournament, there's those consequences of stuff carries over. Am I going to win? Am I not going to win? Yeah, that's fun.
All right, folks. Thanks for coming out to another Board Game Breakfast here on the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And have fun gaming.